Hello, everyone. Welcome to another talk, another live stream here. Okay, so this is one of our 3 tunes of the month that we're talking about. We have Atras de Porta. I apologize about the how I'm pronouncing that, but today we're going to look at it in a different key, and I want to tie in some things to a topic I really don't think I've talked a lot about, which is hexatonics. So I'm going to discuss that a little bit as well. But let's get started here, and we'll do a little playing to begin, and then we'll get into the main talk, and we'll do some playing throughout. Just take some breaks to play around a little bit. All right, so think about this tune a little bit, where we have some alternative changes that we worked from on this one. So we'll take just a visual on the lead sheet. You can kind of work at exploring some of that. It looks like I'm actually on the right page here already, so that's good news. All right, so like I said, we have some different changes here in parts, which I've marked in. I've left the originals there as well, and this will be friendly to podcast listeners as well. So do what I can to describe everything that's going on here. All right, so we have E minor. So here I'm playing E minor 9. So when you listen to a recording, you might listen for, the compatibility of your voicing. So you might say, so if another instrument is playing at kind of in the same range and they're playing a 9, when that sits against the third there, it can have a little bit of a clash with that. So you can maybe drop that third down lower, or just maybe like this voicing. Okay, there's an inversion of that, E minor over D, and then the C minor 7 flat 5 going to F sharp 7. Now we can put the flat 9 in there as well. Okay, F sharp minor 7 flat 5 going to the B7. Again, same kind of shapes. Okay, and then going over to the E minor. Again, like I've been talking about a little bit here, you might just explore it, try different voicings. So this would be like a minor 6/9, then 11. And see what works, see what doesn't work, or listen for that. And also think about, your taste and all that, how everything rolls along there. So here in the A section, we get kind of a similar sort of thing, but we start on the over D kind of shape. So we get an E minor triad over the D note, and this kind of ties in a little bit to our topic. So when we think about this particular context, we're thinking about an E minor triad played over a D note, really. So it's just specifying what's in the bass, right? Okay. But we can start taking groups of triads and coming up with 6-note type scales and even breaking up into triads. So you may have heard me doing that a little bit, not really extensively when I played in, but that's another kind of thing that you could try to work out. So you say, okay, if you're improvising on this, you might say, okay, maybe G major. Okay, and then say you have F sharp minor. Say. So then you're working with these two pairs. Okay, so that's kind of the concept we're thinking about as far as the improvisation goes. Everything kind of goes to as it did before, but here we go up to G major 7. So let's check out that sharp 11. So that's a really nice sound on it, and it's pretty crucial in the tune and everything. And then we have G7, or in the recording of the L is for G note. All right, and then we have this one note moving down by half step. So let's explore maybe a couple things that we could think about there as far as improvisation. So how about an A major triad and a G major triad? So we have two triads. This time we're separated by a whole step, right? So a minute ago we did a major triad and a minor triad separated by a half step. So this one's a little different. And you could try playing groups of 3, but you could also do groups of 4 and just maybe play one of the notes in the triad 2 times. So. All right. Now that scale or that pair of notes, that could work really for both. Both of those chords, right? And that's another way to maybe perceive it is to think a little bit about how what note might be missing from really a heptatonic scale or one of our. So really kind of another way of saying just kind of one of our major scales or whatever scale we're kind of working with. All right, and then we have the F sharp 7 sus. Now, I think on this one I may have done a little bit on this with doing more of this kind of shape. So these sort of stacked fourths, a whole step away. So, but there's a little bit of some of the differences that we've had between the other changes. So now I'm playing the changes in parentheses. So F sharp 7 sus to F sharp 7. All right, well, we worked through a section there. So, so why don't we take a moment to maybe do a little playing. And maybe what I'll do this time is play a little bit on the intro. How about I loop the intro? And, you know, when you're thinking about these hexatonic scales, you know, we can really think about also having, using chords, you know, so arpeggios or kind of chords. So let's slow it down a little bit, talk a little bit about the intro section of the tune here. Try to explore some triads, kind of hexatonic scales, basically pairs of triads. Okay, so as we're playing through there, a couple things to maybe keep in mind. So there's some moments where I played triads, but they're kind of sort of overlapping. So that's one of the things that contrasts a little bit with what we're doing on the hexatonic scales. So let's take a minute to go over to that and just kind of think about how that's all kind of meant to work. So we should have six notes that are distinct. So let's take a look at some pairings and just kind of explore this concept a little bit. Okay, so just in general, thinking about D, let's say D paired with C. So you can basically take two triads a whole step apart. Okay, so you can take a shape on guitar. This actually works out pretty well. So you get the C, let's say play C major triad, and then play the D, so just move up 2 frets. And then you can, of course, play those notes in sequence as well. All right, so let's look at another one. So this is another one that we talked about, and I'm referencing the Jerry Bergonzi book on hexatonics. So B minor, so this is similar to what we did a little bit earlier. B minor and C major. Okay, so it's a minor half step away. And then major over major, half step apart. I did that one a few times, I think. Well, I definitely did the major one. But so on a chord like, let's say the B7, that would be a good place to play major triads half step apart. So, or okay, or you could play, you know, kind of weave back and forth. So a lot of different things you kind of have with that. So that's the dominant 7th. So in that case, I'm taking a major triad half step apart. So let's come up with some other examples. So let's see, on the F sharp minor 7 flat 5, there's an opportunity to play let's say a whole step major triad, whole step apart. So we have F sharp minor 7 flat 5. You could play C major and D major. Right. So there are a couple moments there. All right, so let's get back to our changes. Let's see, we worked through this section now. So I think we talked about all that. All right, so B section here with B minor. So the major triads tend to stick out pretty and be pretty kind of recognizable and clear. So there's a case where you might take D major and E major over that B minor. So let's get that going here. Okay, so that fits pretty well. All right, and then we have the F 7. Okay, so this one you might say, okay, so you might have this kind of sound. And you can think of, let's say, now here's one. I don't know if they talked about. Yeah, they talked about this a little bit. Pairing the, let's see, augmented. Yeah, pairing augmented with the major triad. So that would be a case where you might try that. So I'd say that sounds kind of cool. Okay, so there we're thinking about this F9. And so maybe we want F major and then G augmented. Right. Okay, so that sounds pretty cool. All right, so opportunities to work on all that. So going through here, so the F9 has a relationship, with that B7. So that's a tritone part. So you might say that's a tritone substitution there. Okay, G sharp minor 755. F sharp 7, or C sharp 7. We can change the chord quality of that into 2-5 there and going to G major. All right, and you can use this to create different effects. You can use it to get outside, as I was doing a little bit earlier. So we might take, what if we took a G on G major? What if we took a major and pair that up with B major. Right, so that gets pretty edgy because you're having the sharp 5 in the chord. And that's an area of interest, I think, because you take something like a triad. I've talked a little bit about this before. You take something like a major triad that's kind of recognizable to the ear, and then you just put it in a different sort of context and sort of get a little bit outside on it. All right, so we've got G major, C sharp, minor 7 flat 5, the F sharp 7. Okay. B6. And then E6-9 over B. 2-5 to G sharp minor. Okay, this is an interesting moment in this tune. It's really important. Tuning on this. So we have the 9 and the sharp 11. So there's certain moments in here where there we go. The extensions are a little are fairly important. Well, they're always important, but they're kind of featured in the tune, you might say. Right, so we get this. let's see what's involved with that. So we have a C sharp dominant 7. So that's like sort of the core part of the sound. Here we have augmented triad. So that's something that we might be able to work with. Okay, and then let's say C sharp. Okay, so that kind of works. Okay. Some pairs there. All right, so then let's see, let's go a little bit further. So we've D6-9. Sort of a bright moment there, and then we have the F sharp 7 going back into things. All right, well, let's do a little play. I think I'm going to play mainly on the whole of the form this time and see if we can maybe experiment with some of these ideas. And maybe using them also as chord shapes and things like that. It's a nice opportunity, to really explore voicings as well and improvised playing on these with chords. So, all right, let's continue going through and checking out everything. So the second half here, pretty similar ways with B minor. B7, E minor. G sharp minor 7 flat 5. Okay. And F sharp sus. So going over this, so this is a good voicing for that. Notice the two notes that are heading down and two notes are staying the same. So this note and this note, and then this note and this note. So we get that change there. Okay, and there's another voicing. Gives us a sharp 11 on it. And you can just kind of explore, you know, how each chord kind of moves one to the next. All right, so probably wrap up here in a couple of minutes. So there we have a little bit of a talk on sort of the chords for this tune and thinking about 6-note scales. I think we're going to dive into that a little bit more as we continue our talks, especially on the improv topics. So for now, thinking about you know, for the most part, a triad that sits, it's fairly safe to say two triads that sit either a half step or a whole step apart, and just try to keep them, make sure there are no notes that kind of overlap. But he's got some examples like F sharp and C. Okay, so that's that tritone kind of relationship there. The same thing with minor. Okay. So that is another interval that you might try. So think about whole steps, half steps, tritones, and then attaching basically triad to all of that. All right, so let's maybe do a little more playing and take this up just a little bit and make sure everything is kind of good on it. All right, everyone. Well, thanks so much for watching this today, and hope you enjoy the talk and all that. And let me know if you have any questions on anything. Oh, didn't quite realize I was on that exact screen, but that's okay. So our takeaways, thinking about triads, and basically like triad pairs, and collectively give us a 6-note kind of scale to work with there. All right, everybody, thanks again for checking this out, and I will see you all in the next one.